Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening, guys. I hope you've all had a fantastic day. I know you've probably heard this quite a few times already, but delegate attendees, please remember to fill out and submit your feedback forms. Those are very important for us. They not only help us improve and innovate and help build connections for you now, but also for future events as well. I'm also happy to announce that we are still on track in completing our mission for executed meetings through day one. And as long as we execute efficiently tomorrow, we are still able to be on track to make a donation to a charity of an executive in attendance tonight. All right. That's good. I'm also very excited to announce the 2024 EU CISO of the Year Award to one of the executives in attendance tonight. And I want to congratulate all of the finalists for tonight for all of the hard work and dedication you have all shown in order to be hand-selected by myself, my colleagues, and our advisory board. The EU CISO of the Year Award recognizes a visionary leader who excelled in safeguarding digital ecosystems, fostering innovation, and inspiring collaboration. This year's recipient embodies these qualities, achieving measurable success while championing a culture of shared security. Once again, I just want to congratulate all of the finalists and just thank everyone in attendance tonight. This has been a great first day, and we're really looking forward to finishing the night off on a high note and having a good day tomorrow as well. All right, guys. Please join me in congratulating Patrick Biersteg. He's the 2024 EU CISO of the Year.
Wow, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so
there
much.
You go.
I'm
yeah.
totally humbled and honored.
Awesome. Awesome. You want to say a few words?
Peace. So I'm a bit struck. People know me. I'm normally not lost for words, but I am a bit. Millennium Alliance, thank you so much for the award and dedication, what you normally do. First and foremost to my wife. I told a little bit of the people my story, but without her, I wouldn't have been here. So Tanya, thank you. She's not here, but... And the other one I want to thank you, he passed away. I told Joseph about it, it's my dad. He would have been so proud. So thank you for the recognition. Thank you, everybody. And enjoy a great dinner and a great day tomorrow.
All righty, guys. All right, guys. Now I'm delighted to introduce you to tonight's superstar here at the Atsavara. He is the former Global Chief Information Security Officer at Barclays, Ali Newberry. Please join me in welcoming Ali.
Hello, thank you very much. All right. Okay, well, I got the difficult slot keeping you all from dinner, but pleasure to be here. My clicker will work. Oh, Jesus. It's a wrong presentation. No. I tried to think of a wrapping theme out of the kind of variety of talks we had today, and I guess a little bit of like what is the theme of being a CISO, of being a transformational CISO? Probably there's definitely an element of constant reinvention, I think, that we've done as a profession that we continue to do. So that was kind of my theme. I don't have any songs or costume changes, but just going to try and sketch out like where have we sort of been and what are some of the challenges as a kind of CISO group that we've got to kind of lean into as we go forward. I won't sort of ask where you think we are, but I think, you know, just coming off the back of 8 years at kind of Barclays, it's definitely been a kind of change in the requirements of the roles that everyone in this room has kind of had. I think we all sort of feel that. And I think from the talks today, there's probably a little bit more we've got to do to kind of step into the challenges of the future. So I think, you know, a bit of a theme is certainly what do we need to do to sharpen our sword as a profession to make sure that we can help our organizations with the challenges we've got coming. So the obvious one is kind of us personally, our own kind of skill set. I think as CISOs, it's certainly kind of true that we definitely started off as operating the cyber controls, as the kind of technologists. Our teams were all cyber specialists. We had a very specific role around incident response, security engineering. Certainly feels now like we're getting dragged into all kinds of broader challenges, which is great. It's exciting for us and our own professional development. But it probably also means we've got to kind of continue to raise our game. I don't think this is anything new. I think you've all felt this. I know you'll be spending more time at the board over the last several years. Probably some of you are starting to engage outside and taking external board roles and advisory and kind of working on yourself as a sort of professional to respond to the kind of challenge to become a risk executive as opposed to a kind of cyber techie. But, you know, just from today, we had some talks, I think, touch on some of the things we need to kind of develop. Becoming fluent on geopolitics, I think, in the world we're in, is a pretty obvious theme. I think we used to be able to get away with just talking about the mechanics of cyber. I think you're expected now almost to be the #1 sort of geopolitical expert in an organization as a CISO. I think stuff like soft skills is sort of obvious, but certainly for those of you working in large, complex organizations, you'll know that CISO is a very interesting role in that you're accountable for absolutely everything that can go wrong with anything to do with technology or business process across the bank, but you actually only control a tiny percentage of the technology of the business process. And you've got to exert quite a lot of influence in order to kind of make sure you discharge your accountability. And I think we often get comfortable as kind of experts in our field, which is very esoteric and, you know, sometimes cool to outsiders, in our own value. But I think what I found helpful is looking at other kind of, you know, leaders at the bank, you know, who maybe didn't have deep specialisms, those people that kind of survived as kind of general managers, as executives just on their own skills. And if you look at them, you see kind of, you know, where we can develop to add to our kind of domain expertise. So I won't drain every point, but I think the theme of kind of AI is another one that is going to get talked about in a lot more depth, both today and I think tomorrow. I've kind of just got like a 3-point framework that I sort of use to frame kind of the complete space I think CISOs need to think about in AI. Maybe it isn't the complete framework, so, you know, shout. But I think we often get these 3 different things kind of confused and we blur them and then we end up missing some of what each of them is meant to be about. The obvious one is, you know, making sure you're securing your business's own use of AI, clearly. But I think 2 other important ones are how are you using AI to improve your cybersecurity, whether that's automating your SOC, improving your vulnerability management processes, driving greater automation. That's got to be a second prong of your strategy, and I think what I found useful is actually driving your plan around AI against these 3 things. But I think the third one is the most interesting and probably the one that we spend less time on because it's not the one that's right here and right now, but I think is going to be the most impactful, which is like, how is the approach we have to cybersecurity going to fundamentally change when the adversaries are really using AI against us in a kind of wide variety of ways? I think we've seen kind of nibbling at the edges with like the final killing of the badly spelt phishing email. But that's like, I think only the beginning. I'm obviously now moved from CISOing into technology investment, so I get to see a lot of the startups and some of the things they're doing, and talking to one next week who's now using AI to generate 0 days at kind of, from scratch that human researchers couldn't find. And I think when you reflect as a sort of CISO on what does it do to your patch management process, to your 30-day patching window, if you can find sort of 100 new 0-day vulnerabilities every kind of hour using AI, it kind of feels like waiting 29 days to patch those might not be the answer, right? So how do we need to rethink more fundamentally with that adversarial mindset? The other one, it's not as forward-facing or maybe as kind of groundbreaking as AI, but I think is a little bit underserved. If you look at a lot of the recent attacks, sort of Microsoft, MGM, Snowflake, I think for me there's a little bit of a common theme that attackers now are not hacking in, they're logging in. They're actually just using identities that they've stolen through often some weakness in your workforce, and they're just moving around as legitimate employees. So if your SOC is sitting there every day reversing malware, trying to find complex signatures, it's like, guys, they might not even be using malware now. They're just moving around as legitimate employees. How are you detecting that? How are you preventing it? Especially as we move to kind of SaaS services and identity becomes a kind of a more core security principle than network security. So I would just encourage you, all of you, a little bit to think about kind of all of our identity programs, because clearly as an industry, given the recent spate of attacks, we haven't solved it. Otherwise they wouldn't have happened. And so how do we move kind of our identity and access management programs from like compliance to actually a much more intelligence, cyber defense orientated approach to identity that understands how the adversaries actually exploit the weaknesses in the current stack. And then kind of finally, I think on the layer 8, on the sort of people, which I think is another theme that's come out that I've just tried to draw out a little bit here. I think 2 sort of punchy shots from me. Most of you will know them, but I think phishing simulations is like the baseline. You need to be going a lot further than that now. You really need to be thinking about human risk a lot more broadly, measuring things a lot more multidimensionally. There are many ways that your people can introduce cyber risk into your organization, and you need to kind of have a way of being able to discern where those hotspots are and provide the right education. And I think finally, as an organization then, resilience and readiness is one of those things that we as CISOs have sort of had to take on in a lot of cases as part of that evolution of our role. So it's kind of incumbent on us to kind of rethink it as a little bit of a discipline. And those of you that have been through attacks, ransomware attacks, will know that you're never as prepared as you think you are. And I think stale tabletops is good as a starting point, but probably we need to go beyond that to more regular, more realistic, more dynamic crisis management simulation. And again, maybe that's an opportunity for AI. Can we use that to kind of more dynamically test our organization? So finishing on people is always good as a technologist. And then kind of one sort of twee, slightly more serious quote than Madonna, but just to emphasize the point. I think we always go to these things and we always like, oh, we're really busy. Are we actually going to get any value from going to these sorts of events that Millennium's put on? I think my reflection, for whatever it's worth, is it's only valuable if you listen to some of the talks and actually go back and sort of make a change or multiple changes in your day-to-day, because we haven't got all the answers. The bad guys are relentlessly innovating, and if we don't keep on changing and disrupting ourselves, we're going to get left out. So there you go. Have a good dinner, and I'll talk to you all later. Cheers.